All right, ton to discuss. Play with Donald Trump. So here we go. I'm just going to play a bunch of it, and then we'll talk about it. Play number 20, please. This is Donald Trump with Hugh Hewitt today, a 30-minute interview.
Political establishment. You broke it. You broke their system. You broke their credentialing. Can they ever reassemble that? Are they ever going to put Humpty Dumpty back together again, where you got to go through this gate and then that gate? I mean, you came from the sideline in sort of at the 50 and won. Can they ever put it back together again?
So I use a phrase over the last few months because I've been watching them very closely. They've lost their confidence. Guys like David Brooks, who are supposed to be like Republicans, they're not Republicans. They're bad guys. The other character that's writing for the New York Times, they call him the Republican. He's not a Republican. He's just a flunky for the New York Times. And these people have lost their confidence because they lose all the time. And we have a movement the likes of which nobody's ever seen. You know it better than anybody. You cover it as well as anybody. And
well, it's a realignment.
Make America great. The MAGA movement. It's make America great again. It's a very simple.
It's a realignment, but realignments sometimes fail. Richard Nixon had a realignment going in 1972. It all fell apart. Can you keep this one going? It usually means moving to the center, not moving to the right. If you want to realign, you got to take the center and hold it. Can you do that?
Well, I think so. I've never seen spirit like we have. You know, you mentioned the speech in Alabama, and the place was packed with big arena. They've never had a crowd like that. And it was, University of Alabama, incredible people, by the way. The whole place, everybody was beautiful. It was like the most wonderful looking arena, both the arena itself and the people. And no, we have a great country. We have some people that are sick. Frankly, they have just, I don't know, there's something wrong with them. And you talk about Trump derangement syndrome, it probably makes them even crazier.
Oh, it does. But you won seven swing states,
and they've lost their confidence totally.
You won 7 swing states. Can another Republican pull that off? Because 7 for 7 is the inside straight on 7-card poker. It's just not done.
I won all 7. Yeah, it was. I felt I was going to win all 7. Yeah, I campaigned in all 7. Every arena was packed. We were doing great everywhere. That was, we ran that last 3-month period. You figure 90 days, but that last 3 to 4 month period, that was a flawless campaign. We were just running flawlessly.
All right, play 21 and then 22. 21, the president attacks Congresswoman Crockett.
Put her, and we didn't know, was she good, was she bad? Nobody knew too much about her. Most people didn't know the name Harris, right? They knew Kamala, they didn't know Harris, but she got up and she turned out to be a total disaster for them. But I'm telling you, they're just, if you look at their, hey, we have a big bench. We have a beautiful bench with a lot of very talented people. Look at the people they have. They have somebody named Crockett. And somebody was telling me she's the future of the party. Oh. And I figured, this will be good. I look forward to watching her. And I watched her. She's a low IQ person. Very low IQ.
AOC is the future of the party, and she has charisma. Do you think she can win? Do you think she's going to be their nominee in 28?
I think you're right about the charisma. I don't know about her speaking ability. I don't know about her debating ability. I don't know how she is, in an interview, because you rarely see her being interviewed. Rarely. And that's a bad thing, because usually that means something.
Well, the left is out of its mind.
The real question is he going to be challenged by AOC?
Talking about Schumer now.
Be challenged by somebody else? Because I think he's pretty weakened right now.
I think she can be their nominee for president if she wants. I don't know. Maybe Josh Shapiro can beat her. I don't think so. I think she's unstoppable because of her charisma and because of the left wing sort of lurch of the Democratic Party.
I just don't know about her speaking ability, and I don't know about her. She still has to answer questions, and I haven't seen that yet. She goes on very rarely. You don't see it. And Kamala was a disaster with answering questions. Before that, she was doing all right. And then when she started opening her mouth, she started losing rapidly, really rapidly. So I don't know. And I don't know about her speaking ability. You have to be able to speak in front of large crowds. Her voice is a little different. I don't say it's bad, but it's a little squeaky. And as a squeaky voice, I'm not sure that sells, but we'll see.
All right. There's a giant buffet there, Emma Jo, which you can comment on, but I want to make this point. I find that Republicans rank AOC's chances of being the nominee a lot higher than Democrats do. That's my experience. Emma Jo, what would you like to discuss regarding the president's many
That's,
comments there?
that's the Republican dream.
Yeah, that's part of it.
But I think that Hugh Hewitt, and God forbid, no disrespect, because he's a legend. But I think that he said something that was what I keyed in on, something that he said actually, and Trump didn't catch it, which I'm surprised by, because typically Trump is very sharp on this and will catch it. But Hugh Hewitt was talking about the realignment, which I definitely think that there is one. And he was talking about how in order for the realignment to sustain itself, it has to be moderate. And then went on to talk about how Trump won 7 out of 7 swing states. And I found Hugh Hewitt actually maybe contradicted himself there, because my opinion is that MAGA is totally moderate. I don't think that it's actually very ideological at all. And we just got off a whole conversation about how it's bringing in the MAHA moms, and that's not like a radical right-wing party. And I don't think that in any definition of radical right-wing MAGA clicks. I think first of all, it's non-ideological, and second of all, I think that the establishment parties are definitely more radical than MAGA. I think free trade, the concept of free trade as it was and as our country has been experiencing it since the 90s, is pretty radical. That's pretty radical. I also think that our immigration policy is quite radical. MAGA is trying to moderate the immigration and economic policies of this country, which are the main MAGA policies. So to call it not moderate, I just thought that was kind of off. And I wish that Trump had caught that, because I think that case should be made over and over again. I think it's actually a very middle of the road and very sensible, and for the most part, pretty common sense for most people. Like you said, 7 out of 7 swing states. I don't get where it's radical. I would love for somebody to explain that to me like I'm 5.
All right, Brian.
What I would look to is, one point he made, Emma, was like talking about the realignment, and that didn't work under Nixon. The one thing I would say that Trump and the administration is in danger of is that overreach, because those pendulums, remember, always swing, one way or the other when there's overreach. I think the Democrats overreached with a lot of the agenda items that they had going into the presidential election. Absolutely. I liked what Rahm Emanuel said. We should be thinking a lot more about the classroom than the bathroom. I think they got wrapped around a wheel on something that was a much smaller issue, minor issue to the American people that were dealing with real kitchen table issues. So it's that overreach is what I would be careful about, because remember, in 2018, when Trump lost so many seats in the House in 2018, remember that? Because that was an issue, was they were reacting to his agenda. And something you said, Emma, a bit ago, was it would really be nice, actually, to hear the logic and the thinking and the plan about tariffs and that monetary policy, because I think then people could be more confident in that. But the more the market is unstable, and the more that you actually have everyday Americans and their 401ks being hit, what that cause and effect is going to be on the moderate, or, by the way, not so moderate Republicans that are running in the midterms in the House. That is where the report card comes in. So, I would just be careful with that. And he needs to be a lot more clear. I mean, from a president that has the ability to say a couple of words and shift an entire market during the day. Have you noticed that? He could say one thing about, we're in conversation, we're going to be in conversations with China, and then the market reacts positively. So he has a lot of power to be able to do this, but we just have to think about the American pocketbook, everyday Americans, those kitchen table issues, the rising cost of goods. And, that's what happened before, because we still had a period teetering on inflation as Biden was closing out his term. So, I think he's looking to shift blame like he did last week when he talked about, he inherited this from Biden and, that was the issue. No, it's actually forward-looking policies like the tariff policy that are going to bring about this instability. And as Jerome Powell said today, that stagflation that he's so worried about.
They say that something that's easy is like a walk in the park. Well, easier than a walk in the park, hit the subscribe button, be part of the two-way community, never miss an episode, be part of our conversations. Thank you for your service to America.